Glen Barrows International Pest Control provides a comprehensive approach for a pest-free environment for both residential and commercial clients. Our services include lawn spraying and fungus control services to ensure the safety of your family and pets, commercial pest and rodent control, pre-construction soil treatment, subterranean termite control, and tent fumigation. Call Glen Barrows International Pest Control at 465-2935 or 469-5294. Glen Barrows International Pest Control, setting new standards in pest control.
With news from across the Federation, spanning the region and covering the globe, this is the KyssFM SKN News Now Morning Edition, your one true source for news. And now your presenter.
Good morning. Today is Monday, 20th February 2017. I'm Leslie Joseph. This is the SKN News Now Morning Edition, brought to you with the kind compliments of Glen Barrows Pest Control and Guest House. These are the top stories this hour. Nationally, all CARICOM nations except St. Kitts and Nevis agree that new U.S. immigration policies must be monitored closely. Regionally, Trinidad and Tobago's acting police commissioner says the country's crime situation needs divine intervention. Internationally, tensions between North Korea and Malaysia are heightening over Kim Jong-nam's murder. And in sport, Trinidad and Tobago international football legend Dwight Yorke has been denied entry to the United States after playing a charity match in Iran. Now for a look at the stories in detail. All but one country, St. Kitts and Nevis, has expressed concern at the regional heads of government meeting that United States President Donald Trump's immigration policies could lead to a slowdown in travel to the region dependent on tourism. As Caribbean leaders except St. Kitts and Nevis's Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, ended their midterm summit in Guyana's capital city, Georgetown, incoming CARICOM Chairman, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada, said the trade bloc has adopted a wait-and-see attitude with respect to America's evolving migration policy and how it affects the region's vital tourism industry. No representative from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis attended the intercessional, and there has been no official statement from the Office of the Prime Minister on his absence or that of the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or the Ambassador to CARICOM. The Grenada Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Mitchell, told a news conference that there was obvious reason to be concerned as a region with the recent U.S. immigration policy and the impact it will have on Caribbean citizens and on tourism. Millions of Caribbean nationals, including citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, live in the United States as permanent residents, naturalized citizens, or illegal aliens. Many travel regularly to their home countries, while others send remittances totaling hundreds of millions of dollars each year to relatives who remain in the Caribbean. Prime Minister Mitchell said he understands the reluctance of some Caribbean residents in the U.S. not to leave the country. Trump's attempted crackdown on refugees and immigrants from some majority Muslim countries has raised concerns that he may try to impose harsher restrictions on them as well. Dr. Mitchell believes, however, that, quote, when the dust is settled, things must improve because the borders of Caribbean nations are too close to the United States for them to risk uncertainty or problems in the Caribbean's direction, end quote. Last Thursday, Donald Trump said he will announce a new executive order on immigration this week, after his original January 27th travel ban, which targeted Muslims, was blocked by U.S. courts. The 28th intercessional meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community was held in Georgetown, Guyana on February 16th and 17th, 2017. The Team Unity administration appears to have taken an if it ain't broken, don't fix it approach to the People's Empowerment Program, or PEP. This past Friday, the government launched its long-advertised STEP, Skills Training Empowerment Program. Upon careful examination, however, the program, which is touted to be a marked improvement over the PEP, has revealed itself to be a combination of the first STEP program implemented under the Labor Administration in 2012 and the PEP. The original Skills Training and Entrepreneurial Program, STEP, was launched in February 2012 and was a collaborative effort between the Ministries of Education and Agriculture. Its purpose was to provide entrepreneurial training to marginalized and at-risk males. Under this program, participants were trained in hydroponics farming and life skills and were also provided a weekly stipend. Hydroponics farms were established at the back of the old Ministry of Education building, on the school meals compound, and at Project Strong. The STEP of 2012 was one of many social development projects that was funded by the Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation, or SIDF. According to Permanent Secretary with Responsibility for the STEP-PEP Combo of 2017, Osbert D'Souza, the proposed re-registration drive in preparation for the 2017 STEP targeted mainly one group of PEP workers, the landscapers.
Back in June of 2016, a suggestion was made by Mr. William Phillip, Head Field Officer from the People's Employment Program. The suggestion was that in order to identify ghost workers on the program and to deal with some of the challenges and irregularities facing the PEP, there should be a re-registration. The re-registration was done focusing on the employees who are involved in the National Infrastructure Improvement Component, that is, those involved in cleaning our environment. Following this re-registration, individuals from the same group were asked to identify one of 18 areas of training that they would like to receive.
Mr. D'Souza went on that training under the program will eventually be provided in 18 different areas. The first 9 for which initial training will be provided were selected based on the demands of the hotel and tourism industry.
Based on the responses and from interactions with the representatives of the Hotel and Tourism Association, HTA, and senior officials in the hospitality sector, along with the Labor Department, it was decided that the initial training should be done in the following areas: electrical, plumbing and AC maintenance, carpentry, food and beverage, landscaping, mechanic, bartendering and housekeeping. These areas were chosen in an attempt to satisfy the employment demands, particularly in the hospitality sector. I need not elaborate on the numerous job opportunities that will be made available on the peninsula shortly. The decision was taken at the PEP office not to reinvent the wheel, but to engage the government's recognized training institution, the National Skills Training Program, to implement the training, which in its first instance will involve over 70 participants.
One key difference between the STEP of 2012 and the STEP of 2017 is the entrepreneurial aspect, which seems to have taken a backseat to the training that steers persons towards being employed. The agricultural training element, which was at the center of the STEP of 2012, is also missing. Regionally, the nation is in perilous times. That is the sentiment of Trinidad and Tobago's Acting Commissioner of Police, Stephen Williams. He says the country has become a very violent place with many angry people. The top cop said while he doesn't know the cause for the anger, he does know that something has to be done to curb it. Speaking during a police interfaith service in San Fernando on Sunday morning, Williams said the police's hard work has proven to be insufficient in the fight against crime.
We believe we have arrived at a point in time where there is a necessity for us to go beyond hard work and seek a level of divine intervention, support of spirituality, a clear understanding that there is a supreme being, we need to trust in the Lord. And once we acknowledge him, he shall direct our path.
Williams said after the completion of the 9 interfaith services, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service intends on having a voluntary day of prayer and fasting as part of an effort to get officers, quote, to do all they can as an organization on a consistent daily basis to make a difference in Trinidad and Tobago, end quote. St. Lucia's Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Alan Chastanet, has sought to clarify his administration's position on the Laptops for Students initiative. Last week, he told reporters that the popular program was unlikely to continue. Chastanet said his comments on the issue were off the cuff and that he wanted to explain his government's rationale for reviewing the program.
Prime Minister Alan Chastanet is not disputing the report that this year's Laptop for Students program might be shelved. He is, however, appealing for public understanding of the issues that impact the future of the initiative. He says it is simply a matter of lack of funding to sustain another round of the program, which brings the technology to secondary school students.
I was interviewed just before going into Parliament, so it was not an organized interview. And I was asked a question about the laptops. As everybody knows, we're in the process of doing our budget. I inherited a budget. There was no allocation for the laptops in the budget. We've seen on 2 occasions where on one occasion the laptops came from Trinidad, through the Venezuelans. We had the original ones came from Trinidad, and then we saw a program start with the Taiwanese. We've already heard about contracts with the Taiwanese that have not been paid, so it tells people the state of flow that the CDP program with the Taiwanese is in, and we're trying to weed our way through that entire process.
The Prime Minister says another factor being considered is a radical review of the local secondary school curriculum. He says the curriculum needs to be more relevant to the job market.
We can look at Royalton. And it's not Royalton's fault. I just use it as an example where, so many people were imported to be able to be part of the construction of the hotel. And at the same time, we had 25% unemployment in St. Lucia and 45% unemployment with the youth. So what we want to be able to see is a consistency. Let's identify one type of laptop, whether it's a tablet or whether it's going to be a computer, and that we're now going to create a curriculum that will be as part of the laptop program. Because there's no point in just giving a child a laptop and allowing it to just be a learning tool, but to really get the full benefit of the laptop. Why can't kids be doing their homework? Why can't we have the best teachers, the best biology teacher, the best physics teacher, the best calculus teacher, the best English teacher, and film their curriculum, in which the kids now will have full access to that and be part of their overall curriculum.
The laptop program was rolled out by the former Dr. Kenny Anthony-led administration. It was meant to be an equalizer, ensuring that no child was left behind in a technological age. It was a 2011 election campaign promise and billed as an investment in the lives of students. Chastanet says his administration is not bailing out on the program completely. He, however, concedes that the program is more than likely a no-go for the current academic year.
Here we have to look at what the budget process is. The budget will now come into play in May. So there's no point at this point of the curriculum year, we're almost finished the curriculum year, to go out and get computers at this moment. But we will have computers, hopefully, in the program. I say hopefully, because I can't say that affirmatively at this point until I've seen what the budget includes. But hopefully now we'll be able to have the resources to be able to have a computer program that will start in September.
The St. Lucia Labour Party says it is horrified by the Prime Minister's comments on the call-in program, in particular the claims that there was no budgetary allocation for the laptop initiative. A press release from the party states that this is inaccurate, as the 2016 batch of computers was a gift from the Taiwanese government, and the United Workers' Party should have ensured that this donation was received again this year. The party has further called on the UWP government to explain how activities such as consultancies, contracts and audits, which had no budgetary allocation, could have been provided for. SLP officials say this is simply not good enough, as schools prepare students for a world of work that demands computer literacy.
On the international scene, a diplomatic row between Malaysia and North Korea is escalating over the handling of a probe into the killing of Kim Jong-nam. Mia Womersley reports.
Still they don't come forward, then we have to look for the next option.
More than 20 million people in Africa risk dying from starvation within 6 months in 4 separate famines, the World Food Programme warned last week. We go to this report for more.
Drought forces tens of thousands of Somalis to leave their homes in search of food and pasture. Some families have travelled up to 200 kilometres to take refuge in the village of Tukarak, where the Red Cross has set up temporary shelters.
I'm 75 years of age, and I have never seen such a bad drought. We lost a grandson. He died while we were on our way to come here. Thirst and dehydration killed him.
The Red Cross is providing camps like this across the country and has so far helped more than 140,000 Somalis.
Many of the people here have left behind some family members because they're too weak to travel. They come here and share their food with the animals, with their camels. They haven't seen rain for more than 3 years.
Dry spells are common here, but a failed rainy season last year has made conditions worse and families are desperate. With another rainy season approaching, many will receive financial support as well as food and water. As crops have failed, the price of basic supplies has risen dramatically. There are fears the drought could plunge up to 6 million people into famine. That's about half the population of Somalia.
And now we take a look at sport. Former Manchester United star and Trinidad and Tobago international football player Dwight York has been denied entry into the United States because of an Iranian stamp in his passport. York was stopped over the weekend in Qatar en route to Trinidad and Tobago via Miami. York said that he was told by airport officials that if he boarded the flight, he would be deported back to Qatar once he arrived in the United States. He then tried to explain that he did not live in Qatar and was trying to get to his home in the Caribbean. Airport officials reportedly stopped York after he purchased his ticket and informed him that his name had been placed on a red list because he had traveled to Iran. The Iranian stamp in York's passport related to him playing in a charity match in Tehran in 2015. York, who travels all over the world and regularly plays in United Legends 11 overseas, was apparently refused entry to the U.S. under the border controls since recently put in place last month by President Donald Trump, banning individuals from 7 Muslim countries, including Iran. And that item ends the KyssFM SKN News Now Morning Edition, brought to you with the kind compliments of Glen Barrow's Pest Control and Guest House. Tune in again at 5:45 for our comprehensive evening news package. I am Leslie Joseph.